Thank you for both coming in today. It's unusual to get you both here for filming. I know we've tried to do it a couple of times.
Yep.
For obvious reasons, you're both very busy running the company. Can you just tell me a little bit about where you both came from before? Because you both had established companies within a very broad industry under the same umbrella, but started the iwGROUP 4 years ago?
Yeah, that sounds about right, doesn't it? It seems a lot longer ago. I guess Creative Systems, which was my business, was started in 2014.
Yeah.
And we provided technology and colour solutions for the creative services industry within central London. I think you've been to a few of my Creative Systems
I
parties.
have, yeah. And did you cross paths together within the industry? Or did you know each other socially? What
No.
made you say, right, we're going to set this mega company up?
I think one of our guys just felt that we should meet. There was a synergy between the two companies. I think Matt's business was going through a period where print was challenging, and certainly within the environmental issues and bits and pieces, I think Matt felt that his business needed a different direction or additional direction. And
Bit of diversification, absolutely.
yeah, and we were at a point where I think we offered all the technology and the innovation, but we didn't have the strength and backbone and history and processes all in place that Matt's business had. So it just felt like there was
And my enviable client base.
there was that as well. And there was a connection. I think we both kind of got each other quite early on. We're both quite entrepreneurial. We're both quite customer focused.
We're both quite different, but quite similar.
Yeah.
So what would you say is the USP of the iwGROUP?
With the iwGROUP, you don't have to go to lots and lots of different places, deal with lots of different people for lots of different solutions and technologies. We combine pretty much any intelligent technology for the future workspace, from a single pane of glass, from one company who has a passion for service, for delivery, and some really, really good talent in terms of our team.
So it's a win-win as well, because I think we remove all the friction that can be comes in the project with delivering with multiple suppliers. So that friction's removed, but actually the end result is much greater as well. So it's kind of a win-win, I think, is the proposition we put to clients, because if you're into the old situation of a door won't open in an access control world in an office, is it the cable, is it the door, is it the carpenter that put the door in, is it the locksmith, who are you calling? We kind of give you that one throat to choke, that one supplier to call, to put it right, and we'll own that problem. I think that's quite unique in our sector.
Well, that's an interesting point, though, isn't it? Because you both relatively new together, but you both had established teams together.
Yes.
You're very hot and very keen to build staff and build the teams and support the teams. How was that bringing the two teams together and bringing new people on top of that in?
It wasn't as easy as we'd liked, I'll admit. There were times when it did feel like two separate companies, and everyone used to refer to us as that company and them as that company. But I think we're over that hurdle now, aren't we?
Yeah. We went through a period where you're absolutely right. There were three clusters almost: my team, Matt's team, and then the new teams that came in. And I think both parties had just to come to the table more. Matt's business was very, very organised and very process-driven.
Yeah, we've invested a lot in the back office, getting the systems aligned, getting the staff harmonious, I guess, and just getting the whole process and the whole client experience really, really on point.
Well, iwGROUP it typifies the performance of the company is led from the top, and your joint CEOs. It seems to percolate all the way down. Whoever you deal with within the company, even on today, filming a podcast, or you meet somebody on the phone, or an email comes out, there is a unity there that's quite surprising for a relatively new company that's had two successful companies joining. Do you think that some of the reason of that success is down to the fact that you famously within the industry, or infamously, are never more than 6 hours from talking to each other, either via email or phone? Do you arrange that you'll go?
Is it that long?
Is it less than that? I don't know, but that obviously comes across from the company that there's.
There was a time in the early days. I think our body clocks aligned, and we would finish talking at 2 a.m. and back on at 5 a.m. It's
Really.
I think we are, because we were so thrown in it together. I think a bond developed that actually outwardly we projected that no one's coming between us. You deal with one, you're dealing with us both.
Absolutely, 100%.
And we've never actually had a situation where one's overruled the other. We just don't play that way. And I think that's given the staff real clarity as to what the vision is, because it's a shared vision. It's not Matt's vision or mine. It's a shared vision.
Absolutely.
And they get the same consistency from both of us. And I think that's been really important. It has been intentional, but we've not had to aggressively enforce it.
Yeah.
It's been quite natural.
That must be quite exciting, but that must take up a lot of your energy. Presumably that side of it is now box has been ticked. Where is your energy going forward with the iwGROUP then? Because you've sorted out the merging of two companies.
Yep.
You know everybody's contacts, names, details. You put a staff together. Where do you go from here?
Global domination, Tim.
Is that what it is? But you just need a white cat to stroke it now just to say where you're going. But you jokingly apart, you've already got offices in New York. You've got connections in Dubai.
Yep.
Do you see yourself beyond London and the UK?
100%. We're doing quite a lot in Berlin at the moment. Quite a few projects, as you mentioned, in New York. Rob's just flown back from Dubai, overseeing an install over there. So yeah, it's not just the UK.
And where do you see yourself for 2025? In baby steps. We're only a month or so away from the new year. Where are we going to go, and what will we be seeing from you guys in the next, say, 3 to 6 months?
In terms of growth, in
terms of projects that are coming along.
Got some really exciting stuff, haven't we?
Yeah, I think we're expecting to be in Italy, Germany, the US. Some work coming up in Asia as well. I think the product set is continually expanding. We need to keep it fresh.
Yes, absolutely.
What do you mean by keep it fresh? Because people want to know what they're going to deal with when they engage your services.
But there's technology emerging every day, and we invest an awful lot of money and time in just understanding what's out there, what's happening, and then how we can use that technology to improve what we're offering to our clients. We don't sell everything to anyone, but if there are products that come along, particularly around the AI buzz at the moment, there's a lot of automation that's coming into integrations between our products. So as opposed to the conventional access control and CCTV or building management systems, these are all becoming one central system that's communicating and using layers of AI behind it. And I think that's what's separating us and allowing us to push forward, because we're not just sell that box, sell that box, sell that box. It's actually, what can we do with those 3 boxes together that makes a far greater solution than anyone else? So you've got to keep topping up the technology and exploiting it. You've got to sweat that asset for your client.
Absolutely, yeah. It's connecting everything together, simplifying for the client, but delivering the expertise and the knowledge that we have. And I think we're really lucky with the team we have behind us.
You've got different approaches and different subject matters. I think it's 6, isn't it? You've got from everything from
the tech stack.
Yeah. Yep. Can you talk us through those and just to give an illustration to somebody that's come across this podcast for the first time, what your company can provide in those different dimensions?
It is what it says on the tin. It's intelligent workspaces. It's finding the best of the future technology and delivering it from one point of contact.
But you'll do everything from tech, print, you'll track things. I think it was very interesting. One of the very first meetings that we had, and it's one of your goals that you deliver when you work with a new company, is the tracking. Because some of your clients are very glamorous, from Dunhill across very sexy companies, but you'll also deal with ambulances that might lose something on a call out that's got some machine that's been broken or left in a different hospital, and you can track that per.
Absolutely, that's actually one of Chris's little babies. So we'll let him.
Yeah, these are solutions that are developed out of customer need. So whilst tracking technology's been out there for a long, long time, these were clients that came to us with very precise needs about equipment that was being lost in the field, whether that's building and construction sites or the ambulance service. Equipment, and being able to track that equipment and manage that equipment was proven impossible. And we developed a solution where equipment can be tracked, located, depending on what vehicle it's on, recovered and identified. So where you've got recalls on equipment or it needs to be serviced and calibrated at certain intervals, they can instantly understand what vehicle that piece of equipment is or what building that piece of equipment is in and the exact status of that piece of equipment. So when it was purchased, who it was purchased by,
when the
is
warranty
it in
runs
warranty?
out,
When the warranty runs out, absolutely everything on
and
that.
warranties are a massive issue because in so many instances people are buying hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of equipment and it's failing 9 months later, or one unit fails 9 months later, and they go and buy another one because they haven't got an easy access path to go, actually that piece of equipment was purchased, then it's under warranty, let's make a claim back to the original manufacturer. So it's a real asset control system.
Yeah.
But when it's mobile fleets and mobile equipment, it can actually pinpoint it to within about 10 metres to say that's where that piece of equipment is. And in a lot of the sectors we worked in, they had millions of pounds worth of equipment, and if they needed to identify what vehicle had a specialist piece of tooling in, they actually didn't know. So they might send 2 or 3 units to a particular job and hope that one of them had the unit on board.
Yeah, another good example was a big tool hire company who didn't actually know when everything had been returned. So it's something as simple as that we solved for them.
But then you can also provide for a gym that somebody wants to click in and out, and so that you don't need staff there all the time.
Yep.
Absolutely. Automated access control, combining with facial recognition.
Yeah. But is that a danger within the industry and the where it's going, that it's less... You're quite an enigmatic company. You're very full on. You're very sociable. You know, everybody gets together and celebrates the successes of your company. But you're dealing with a lot of things that are very automated that take the staff out of those situations. Is that something that you see where the industry's going?
No, I think it means the staff can be redeployed into looking after the customer as opposed to dealing with the more mundane issues. Gyms in particular had this issue where one person would scan in, 3 people would walk through. That's losing them revenue. So we can protect that revenue for them. The members of staff still exist, but the members of staff are looking after the customers and training the customers and building revenue and building the customer experience, whilst not having to manage who's coming in the door.
Yeah, the tailgaters.
Yeah. I don't think technology is replacing the human. I think it's allowing the human to engage more deeply with the human and take away the more mundane tasks.
It's very exciting. Every project that you've mentioned to me, either today or off camera, or I've seen it in situ, it's brilliant. And each one is there's not a one situation suits everybody else. As you said, you tailor-made it to that person or this job. Is there an economy of scale here? If anybody's watching and they're looking, that looks a fantastic company and I would love to be able to use them. However, I'm not big enough. I've only got 3 offices. I've only got this. Where does it work for them to get in touch with you as somebody as a potential customer?
At any time, really.
Yeah, I think these people are all buying these products.
Yeah.
I think the mistake, or we think the mistake they're making, is that they're buying them independently and individually. You don't go and buy a car and go to one place and buy your wheels and go to another place and buy your engine. You buy a complete vehicle that's been made and prepared for you. I think that's what we do when it comes to the workspace. You come to us and you can buy the entire technology suite in the workplace, and it all comes together as a car does and work together.
Absolutely.
You're not if you regard the access control and the CCTV and the network as component parts, you're not building a solution, you're buying individual bits. We deliver the solution and we integrate those products together, and I think that's what makes the big difference. An access control system that can recognise a car number plate, that can then tie that car number plate back to a person, and whether that person should be arriving at that particular time on their shift is a much better solution than simply an access control system or a number plate recognition system that opens a barrier.
And is there anyone else in the car that shouldn't be in the car?
Exactly. And is the person driving the car, does it have the face of the person that should be entering that property as opposed to just the number plate? So for airports in particular, there's a solution we've developed there around facial technology, because they used to employ ANPR, which is purely allowing a number plate to access the car park. And in fact, that wasn't what they were looking for. What they needed was a far deeper solution, but we were the only people at the table explaining to them that what they needed was to ensure that the people in the car were also the right people coming in at a time that they should be entering the property. Yeah,
and by integrating it with their HR system, it will say, well, actually, is this person supposed to be at work on this day? So it's far more intelligent than just a number plate.
And the security guy, all he's actually getting is the alert that a pattern has been broken in some way. This car is entering the car park, it has permission to enter it, the right person's there, but in fact, he's not on shift today. Why is he coming in? They're dealing with that alert as opposed to the mass of 1,000 cars arriving.
So it's a bespoke design for individual companies, because you can also go in, iwGROUP can go in and say, look, you're a relatively successful company, but we can make you have more time to deal with your company by sorting out your offices and your Wi-Fi and your security and anything else that you have problems with at the moment. You can come in and you're basically like the A-team. You turn up and sort their problems out, however their problems manifest themselves.
I'm obviously the face. Which one's BA?
Yes, exactly. You're broken at the psychiatric hospital once a week.
Yeah, Maddock.
Do you get more of a buzz as the CEOs of iwGROUP if you're getting repeat custom from an existing customer, or a new customer comes along that's heard the reputation of what you guys are doing?
I think it's both. That's a really good question.
That's a good question.
That's a really good question, but I think it's both. We pride ourselves on excellence of service, so retaining clients, that's really, really exciting. And yeah, a lot of our clients, Time Out Magazine, Vivian Westward, Dunhill, have been with us since 2014. But it's so
and they're quite exacting clients. They're not just easy clients that are not being touted for other business from other people all the time. Why do you think they stay with you guys?
Me, obviously.
But what service do you provide repeatedly over many years that retains high-profile clients?
It's the expertise, the knowledge of our team, and they've never ever let them down. They'll do exactly what they'll say they do when they say they do it. Talk is cheap. Anyone can undercut on price and overpromise and underdeliver. We make a specific focal point of always delivering excellent service. Never compromise on whether it's cost, whether it's an idea or something. Just always deliver the best. Always deliver absolutely the best. But going back to your question, I think it's really exciting as well when we uncover new projects, new people approach us.
There's a definite buzz about winning a new client. There's no getting away from that. But I think, for me, the ultimate buzz is when an existing client develops and grows their offering with us. Because you you've got it right then. That customer has experienced you. They've already dealt with you, and they're coming back for more. I think that has, in my mind, has to be a better endorsement of what we do than the customer that decides for the first time to try us. We've almost passed the test at the point where they continue to give us more and more repeat business. And I think the other bit we don't underestimate ever is there's no ring fence around Matt and I. We haven't got the team of people that protect all the incoming callers from getting to us. Any customer can have our mobile numbers. If things don't go as they want them to, and no business is perfect, but they can talk to us easily. We don't hide behind PAs or sit up in glass towers somewhere. We are on the floor with our business.
Absolutely.
So does that mean when an issue arises sometimes you'll take the call and you'll do a site visit, or at least you two will talk
100%.
Really?
I quite often do.
So can you give us an example of when that's happened recently, where you've had to go out and help sort or navigate an issue and make it worthwhile?
I had a really exciting one. I don't think we're allowed to mention the name because it doesn't like to be named at the moment.
Well, bleep it. That is a very exciting name that you have been approached to and are working with.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
And what kind of
on his new office move, completely from the connectivity to the AV, building his studios, everything.
That's not to be underestimated, because that's somebody that's a very well-known person in a very competitive business. I would imagine a lot of people would want to work with him for free just because of the situation and what he comes. But you guys are actually doing a project with him,
Absolutely.
A paid project with him.
Oh yeah, we're not a charity, Tim.
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly, but. I'm interested to know is that how much overlay is between you and his company on what he wants and what you provide. Have you steered that in a certain direction that he hadn't thought of how the setup of the offices is going to work?
That's a really good point. I think, yes, we have. We've got a very creative design team who are just full of ideas, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they selected us in the first project because they saw we were pushing the boundaries of what was possible from the equipment. I think they initially had specified the equipment they wanted, and it became very clear to us
it wasn't the right equipment
at all for them. So it wasn't about us trying to force the products we sell onto them. It was just explain to them that what they had selected, what they had chosen was incorrect.
It wasn't as future-proof as they needed.
No, and it wasn't as given greater return on investment. So I think they selected us, understood that we deeply understood what they were trying to do, and also clients say to us a lot, we align with them, we align with their vision. They kind of get us, and that's been a growing client. That's placed test order with us and now coming back for more and more and more, to the point that all technology that they need is coming through us. We are the trusted people.
Absolutely.
Do you think one of the USPs of the iwGROUP is the fact that your two seasoned CEOs independently have joined to set up a brand new, relatively new, exciting company? So you bring expertise, but the excitement and energy of a new company going forward. Because future-proof is a word that comes up on conversations that you have with other people, or it's on your website.
Yep.
That you're not just there for today, you're there for the day after and next week and next month with those companies, because you want to grow them.
100%. Clients are for life. We're not just a quick win. We're not box shifters.
Yeah.
Another good example of us getting involved as well. Unison, the big trade union.
Yeah.
They've got a huge sort of production print plant in Woolwich.
Yeah.
Still working on the old sort of Heidelberg press litho machines.
No. Hey.
Yeah. So we've we took Canon in there and introduced them to the new sort of digital way of working. And it's early days yet, but that's quite an exciting project.
It's staggering the amount of different types of clients and known names that between the two of you've worked with and are now working together with the iwGROUP. Can you just give some examples of, I'll throw out a couple of things, but Dunhill, ambulances, gyms, and your standard type of office that people would be watching this thinking, I could help, or they could help me with. Can you just tell me about why you've been working with Dunhill for nearly 10 years and ambulances, because they're so diverse?
Absolutely. I guess people like Vivian Westwood, Dunhill, even Time Out magazine, some of the world's biggest advertising groups, so WPP, Omnicom, we've never let them down. They've stayed with us. And what's really, really great is now we've diversified our offering. There's so much more we can offer them as well. And I think they find us really, really exciting.
And they can trust you.
Absolutely. Yes.
So Vivian Westwood to working ambulances, how do you make that jump under the same umbrella?
I think it's because we don't sell a product.
Yeah.
We don't go to market and say, this is the box we've created or we're buying in and we want to resell it.
Yeah.
These customers are coming to us with a problem. Mm-hmm. And we've engineered and created and programmed and integrated technologies together to build a solution for those customers in a way that nobody else is doing or thinking. And I think for us, that opens huge amounts of doors to us, because every business has problems. And there's lots of products out there that solve bits of those problems. In fact, we've kind of reversed things, and our customers come to us and say, we have this issue. Mm-hmm. What can you guys do? And we've got a great team. We've got some great brains in the business that work together to find solutions for it. It's a reversal of that. It's quite unconventional that we're not selling a precise product or a precise service. You're problem solving for customers. And with the ambulance service in particular, they approached us with a number of problems they were facing that they couldn't solve, that we were able to solve for them with solutions.
Like what?
Asset tracking was a huge issue.
Yep.
Where, in the nature of what they're doing, they're very mobile. There's hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of equipment.
Defibrillators is a good example, isn't it?
This is being left forgotten at ambulance scenes because their focus is the patient and getting them back to the hospital. And we developed a system whereby if a piece of equipment got detached from its host ambulance, the control centre would be notified, and in fact every associated vehicle in the ambulance fleet would also be notified that there's an abandoned piece of equipment. That made a huge difference to them just recovering lost equipment, but also beyond that, it enabled them to manage that equipment as well, because it went far beyond where is that item. It went to the point of that defibrillator, it needs to be tested and calibrated once a year. Okay, well, where is it? It could be on one of 500 ambulances. Well, actually now our software scans each ambulance and says that unit is on that ambulance and that ambulance is in this location.
Absolutely, and if it's out of service or out of warranty and it breaks down, that's a lawsuit waiting to be happen. So we were able to provide the sort of asset life cycle as well for them, and asset management.
So how much of your company is solving business problems and how much of it is foreseeing the problem that's about to happen?
That's a really good question. I think it's a bit of both, isn't it?
I think every project brings both.
Yeah.
And the more we give to a client in terms of ideas and innovation, the more challenges they'll throw back to us, because there's always going to be lots of yes, but what about this with a client? And that means we have to then go away and hone that solution more and more. So I think it is a mix with both, isn't it? We can innovate as much as possible across the sector, but actually, even at base level, most of those innovations still require some bespoke tailoring on a per client basis. There's very few, I believe in the tech sector, there's very few opportunities just to sell a product.
So you're looking at the overall picture rather than looking face up at something that's immediately an issue. You go, let's step back, guys. Because I think a word that you've used quite a bit and is bandied around with your company is future-proofing things.
Yes.
And looking ahead to where you're going to be in 12 months, 2 years' time. How, if you future-proofed your own company, where do you see yourselves in 12 months, 18 months, 2 years' time?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So I think we're growing at such a phenomenal rate, aren't we?
Yeah, it's AI. I think
Yep.
if you have to wrap it up into, where is the real focus? What's the needle changer? It is bringing in that level of intelligence into pretty much everything we do, because you can apply AI really easily to any technology that we offer, whether it's access control, whether it's Wi-Fi systems, whether it's print management. AI brings a different dynamic dimension to all of these technologies. So I think for us, it's understanding and exploiting that AI, the buzz, and it's still in its infancy, but it's getting more and more
traction, absolutely,
really, really quickly. And we're seeing some great technologies around telecoms and communications in general that we didn't think would be ready by now. You think that they're 2 or 3 years away before we'll start to see that, and they're emerging now.
Brilliant.
But we like to be at the front, don't we? We like to be able to introduce to our clients, the next big thing, the next groundbreaking technology.
Well, that's the creative side, I imagine, that comes into your business as well, is putting a spin on things and seeing where things could go rather than they should go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think when we don't allow a default template proposal to ever leave the business, it has to have something. It's what's different, where's the edge in this solution?
That's a really good point. We don't just email a quote. It's about what we can add, the value we can add. We're not a box shifter. We don't just give someone a price on something. Everything has that personal touch. Everything's hand delivered. Everything is the best it can be.
So if somebody's watching this or listening to this now and they're a company, is there a scale of company that has to be a certain size before they can approach iwGROUP? Or are you looking at one office, 5 people, or could it be 1,000 people? Where does it sit when they can approach you?
It's quite diverse, and a very good example is we've got a lot of traction in the shared workspace sort of marketplace. So we take TechSpace, for example, who use all of our solutions and technology. Their tenants, who can be very small to very, very large, see it all in action and say, "Oh, we'd like a bit of that as well, please."
Really?
So a lot of our new clients and work comes from, I guess, reference points, testimonials, referrals.
Right.
So I think we've got a good reputation, haven't we, Chris?
Yeah, and there is no sizing issues to it, because a smaller business often can use and benefit from technology much more than a larger business can.
Why?
Because if you're a one-man band, for example, you can't do the marketing, answer the phone, manage your customers, manage the internet, all of those things. When you could be a carpenter trying to build a piece of furniture. Technology can handle a lot of the things behind the scenes for you. It can answer your phone. It can talk to your customers for you now. It can interview your customers and ask them the key questions. It can then send them out a brochure automatically. It can handle all of those things while you're still doing what you do. Traditionally, you'd need to bring in people to do that and employ them, and that's out of reach of a lot of the really small businesses. So I think technology serves a smaller business actually much better than those businesses with 100 people and very deep pockets, because they're quite easy fixes because they've got plenty of money to fix those things.
We're not a one-size-fits-all. We will develop a solution for whatever the need is.
So you're a couple of years in, but presumably now that you've established the company is doing incredibly well, exponentially more than you even thought you would be in this situation. Does that mean that you now have more time to not steer the oil tanker of iwGROUP in this direction, but to deal with other things that you didn't think you'd even be discussing 2 years ago? Because it is quite a creative industry. I know it's very technical, but there's so many things happening at the moment.
I think once you've got the foundations in place, and we're definitely through that part, and you've got the right people, you then empower those people to be the best versions of themselves they can be within the business. Then you feel differently about your business because you trust the people that are around you. So you can concentrate on different things, but it's more about encouraging people just to keep pushing forward.
We're
push the boundaries.
We've got some amazing technology, probably one of the best teams in the country, and we're not going to lose them. So we are 100% into empowerment, into progression.
How do you manage your established company, your previous established company, bringing them together and then bringing in new staff as well?
Yep.
How do you manage that as both of you are CEOs of the company?
There was a determination to make it work, and I think that's why it worked, because everyone bought into what we were trying to do. That didn't remove the frustrations where two cultures were hitting each other head on, and we did slam them together.
Yeah. We were very, not regimental is the wrong word, but very organised, very efficient, great back office systems. They were a little bit more sort of entrepreneurial, out there, really, really good at the marketing and the shouting about it and making it look good, but not necessarily as organised behind the scenes. And training people that are used to be able to do what they want to actually know you should do things in a certain way because there's a logical reason why you do things in a certain way. That was a challenge, but we seem to be over the hiccups now, don't we?
Very much so.
Yeah. And I think what we've come out with is a really, really robust business, really, as I said, fantastic team and an amazing client base.
And that client base is expanding all the time.
Absolutely.
There's about 19 million non-disclosures that you have to sign. But I'm just going to ask you about. We'll just bleep them out for now. But there are various big names and companies and setups and famous people that you're dealing with and famous setups.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about some of the situations?
Some of the ones we're not allowed to mention.
Yeah, and we'll just bleep it out for now. But there's obviously we're going to say the big elephant in the room.
Okay.
What are you doing with him, and what have you delivered?
Right.
It came about through a client referral, which again is always the best thing. So a client referred him or their business into us.
We started off doing a little bit of AV for them, and then building like podcast studios, and then
which is ironic because he's famous for doing that, and you guys.
But he wants the latest technology. He wants the latest of everything, and decided that he wants to move and wants a really, really top of the notch, state of the art, swanky new office, and chose us to help him do that.
That's amazing. And so, do you approach that as the same person as if it's just one guy that's making a wood table and needs your help, or do you bring in different people? Because there's quite a setup on that, isn't it? And there's a bit of culpability to you guys delivering something that somebody wants to work like that straight away.
I think everybody in the business, because we have different skill sets and different levels of expertise, everybody in the business will still have eyes on both clients. They'll still want to, we don't tend to allow anybody just to propose something to a customer. There's always a second set of eyes that go onto it because there's a different angle. So I think the expertise that goes in is consistent with every single customer. There's probably just more of it on the bigger project because there's more scale and there's more scope to be done. But generally, it's the same approach on every single customer. It's how do we take that box and really, really exploit the features and benefit of that technology alongside this technology, so what the customer's getting for that investment is much, much better than what anybody else is providing, who are typically providing just that box.
One of the backbones of iW is future-proofing customers' businesses going forward. How are we going to future-proof your business for next year? What's happening in 2025 for you guys?
I think the big step for us is a shift towards educating sectors. We want to get out much more, meet business leaders, get them all together, get some thought leadership going.
Absolutely, create a real buzz.
Yeah, get them to understand what technology can offer their businesses, showcase some of that technology, bring some manufacturers in, and talk face to face about how all this comes together. We can only meet one person at one time typically during the sales process. And actually, there's lots of people that have got a thirst for information about what is new, what's happening out there. And I think we want to take that technology to them in some webinars, some seminars, some social events. So I think there'll be a lot more of us out and about meeting people, big events.
Quite exciting.
It is. Yeah, it's a step change for us. But I think we feel that's a better way of connecting with a new market.
Yeah, absolutely.
Than sending out an email or doing anything sort of conventional like that.
Yeah, we're very hands-on. We're very more personable, aren't we? We're not the run-of-the-mill.
I don't want to make too much of a fuss, but there is a buzz within the industry about the video walls and the setup that you guys and iW can supply now. I'm used to video walls. You see them. What's different now? Why is it such an exciting time for that?
I think the price point has made them more
affordable just for a reception area, for example. Whereas they were always quite niche and saved for the rich and famous, weren't they?
Yeah, so
would date very quickly after a while.
Yeah, and technology's moved on a long way. Actually, it's quite flexible now, so you can, because they're modular in their panels, you can actually, customers can buy 32 panels, and in one instance you use them in the meeting room and then dismantle it and move it into an auditorium. So I think it gives you the flexibility that a fixed screen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's interesting tech. It's not particularly innovative because it's been around, as you say, a long, long time. But it's definitely a price point now that's much more approachable to our typical client, who rather than having just a conventional screen on the wall, will more and more look towards thinking, actually, let's cover the whole wall with a screen that can be 4 or 5 different things at once.
Not that you need more customers at the moment, because you're dealing with a hugely impressive portfolio that's changing every few weeks and months. But for somebody that's maybe watching this on LinkedIn and they think, we've already got a system, can you help them with their previous system or existing system and bolt on to that, or do they have to come to you and start from afresh?
No, I think we don't replace what doesn't need replacing. We may enhance it.
Yeah.
We're completely vendor agnostic.
What does that mean?
It means that we don't align ourselves
to one particular vendor.
So if a customer's got something in place already, within reason, we will look to support them with that product and enhance it and integrate it into new technologies. We don't believe that any customer's out of reach for us.
We are very diverse. Have you been to Lascargo on Greek Street? London's oldest French restaurant. Really, really lovely place. But every time you pick up a menu, we've got a machine upstairs that prints them for them every day, so they can have a different menu every single day.
So it keeps them abreast of what's going on and makes it a bit more bespoke.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you can have everything from one restaurant in Soho to a multinational company that's based in Dubai.
Exactly.
And you've just described our client base there.
Yeah.
It is that diverse.
And which parts of that business are most exciting for you going forward?
Every single part, Tim. Every single part.
Yeah, when you make a difference to a company through technology, it's exciting.
It really
doesn't
is.
matter if that is a small restaurant in Soho or a 200,000 square feet office in Dubai. But you've got to have made a difference. And I think that's the bit that we seek out of the projects we deliver.
I think one of the things that puts you ahead of many other companies or competitors or rivals is the fact that today we've arrived in East London or Liverpool Street, and we're all walking to this studio, and one of your colleagues said, "Oh, that street at the end there, we fitted out that company 6 months ago, 12 months ago to quite a high
tech space on the same street." Yeah,
really. That's amazing that, where we end up filming today, that you've actually influenced quite a big scale down the road.
Yeah, it is quite odd actually when you have the Shard is a classic example. When you have a drink at the top of the Shard, you can look out, and as time goes by, you see more and more of your clients. You remember that project and this project, and I think our spread across London is far greater than we probably ever anticipated already.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think we've got 3 clients.
Or Hoxton, is it?
No, I think we've got 3 clients in this street, and that is quite a statement actually.
Yeah.
Wow.
We haven't got 3 clients in every street, but we've definitely got 3 clients in this street.
Yeah.
And
it's because it's close to a pub.
Can you show or give me an example of one of the smaller bespoke systems that you would deal with in a company that's not a huge scale, and then how it's expanded? Because I'm thinking you've worked with gyms or businesses where you've had to do the security entrances, but then it's become much more because they've seen.
One of our biggest clients started off as one door and access control.
Really?
And since then we've done mansions, we've done multiple countries for them. Very prestigious offices in London. Can't mention their name, or can we?
Well, we can say it's and we'll just
bleep it out.
We just beep it out.
It's going to be after a lot of bleeping going on.
But it is those stories that.
But it's the UK's largest independent hedge fund, isn't it?
Yeah, and it tells us that what we're doing is right. That's the important bit. That customer it's become so invested in us because we are the hub of all their technology.
And we're about to do Milan for them.
Yeah, and we're about to do more. And
it's an exciting time for you guys then, really.
Yeah.
There's just a lot going on that I would assume that you wouldn't necessarily have expected just 2 or 3 years ago.
I think we always knew we had something special. I think we always knew, as soon as we got together and came up with our ideas aligned, I think we knew we were onto something special. With the staff we have, the talent, the offering, the reputation, there's no stopping us, is there?
Doesn't feel that way.
It might be a bit a silly question, but why should people want to work with you guys?
As it work with us as clients or work for us as staff?
As staff. Why would somebody want to join your company in any role?
Apart from my legendary reputation for parties and Chris's award-winning personality, what else?
Quite sparkle.
Yeah, it's a cynic wit, beauty and charm. But no, on a serious note, I think we really look after our staff. We care about our staff. We offer them a package which is way above what anyone else in the industry would in terms of the working environment, full private health care, everything at an early age. You know, we just treat people with respect, don't we? And we want them to stay with us.
Yeah.
We're a family, and we want people to stay with us for the long haul.
Are you looking to expand your teams?
I think that's a really good question, Tim. I think we always are. We're always looking for fresh talent, people that really fit in with the environment we've created. We're in a really exciting time. We really, really care about what we've created, and we don't want it to stop here. And I think we're very attractive, aren't we, to people. You know, it's very tough for young people today, and I think we offer something above and beyond what other employers would for them.
Yeah, I think culturally we've created a really exciting, vibrant business where you can be a part of something that matters. You won't be a component part. You're not given a number, and you'll engage at all levels across the business. Yeah, Matt
we've
and
got a very open structure, haven't we?
Yeah, and we meet our staff. Yeah, we're not
regularly.
Yeah, yesterday we spent 3-4 hours out with just one employee, just because it was due a catch up and needed to spend some time with them and understand what they wanted to.
That's how we learn from the staff, isn't it? That's how we learn.
And we came away from that actually thinking there's more to this person, that they have more to offer, they want to offer more, they're excited about their career. And we kind of go away with an attitude of let's make this happen for them.
Yes. And presumably they're at the cold front as well. They're actually getting involved in things that are really exciting. They're not just in an office signing paperwork. They're actually getting out and about.
Client
doing
facing,
stuff.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, rolling their sleeves up and getting on with it.
We've talked about the business. I just think we should talk a little bit about the two of you together and your dynamics and your characteristics.
Our relationship.
Your relationships. So can you just expand a little bit about the fact that it's only 4 or 5 hours per day that you're not in touch with each other? How do your partners deal with that? How's your home life? Are you constantly somebody that's like a millennial looking at your phones? Do you switch off? Is it all about the work?
Oh, actually, we spend quite a lot of time socially together as well, don't we?
We do.
And
including Christmas Day.
Oh yeah, we're having lunch together Christmas Day.
That is sad and pathetic when it's listed out on the podcast, doesn't it?
It does.
We've kind of, it is a bit like a married couple. We both switch off at the same time without talking to each other. We don't
Really?
we don't have to say
we're switching off now.
Yeah, that's it now. Leave me alone for the.
Yeah.
We get bored of each other at the same sort of midnight.
But if you
hour.
know each other well, do you know each other's birthdays?
I think we probably don't.
25th of January 1973.
In which case he's in February a year before that, and it would be it's near Valentine's Day, the 9th.
No.
Oh, what was it?
12.
The 12th.
That's not bad. He was early. Who's most likely to be late for a meeting?
Chris.
I don't think either of us.
That's
I
good.
don't think it's culturally.
No, it's not.
We are both 10 minutes early at least.
Socially, what kind of things have you got in common? You're into football? Are you into football?
I'm not into football.
There's nothing socially
Absolutely
we have in
nothing.
common there.
Do you think that's one of the reasons that it works so well then? Because you did touch on it a little bit earlier on that you're completely different in some respects, but when it comes to business, you've got the same drive, you've got the same ambitions.
Same ambitions, the same drive.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a geek. He likes Star Wars, collecting figures, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I've got a life.
Is there anything else that you don't think that we've covered today? Because it's taken 6 months to get the two of you together. You're constantly together doing work, but to get you to take time out to sit on the sofa and chat about the company, is there something that we haven't covered?
I think if the message, if there's one thing that can come out of this, it's letting people know that they can talk to us as a business.
Absolutely.
And actually, it's about talking. We're not going to turn up with a clipboard and a flashy Burton suit and try and sell you something. Our best relationships start by customers saying, can you pop in? Can we meet for a bit of lunch and have a chat? I've got some things going on with a business. It could be sizing up, sizing down. And I want to understand what technology, what you guys bring to the table. That's really the message we're trying to get out there, that customers that don't have a need but aren't quite sure what the future means for their business with tech and how it's all coming out, talk to us. We'll meet you for a coffee.
It's never too early to talk, absolutely.
And it will be an informative, educational, consultative process that isn't high pressure. It's not sell. It's a relationship we build. And if that relationship means you don't buy anything for 2 years, then that's absolutely fine.
But I think it's just knowing that we're here when we're needed. And I think that's just the message we're trying to get across, isn't it?
And it's
you can rely on you guys.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and talk to us without fear of you're going to have a salesman coming in. What you're going to have is a guy that's going to really think about what you're telling them about your business, and he'll educate you about what we can do, what we can offer, some things you can think about, and we'll leave you be if that's what you want.
Absolutely, talk is cheap, so we don't waffle. We just advise if we can, and we do care.
So in a nutshell, IW is like the Swiss Army knife of businesses. You can help on so many different levels.
Absolutely.